Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope everyone's had a wonderful week and a wonderful time since the last time we saw each other. And a very happy Ramadan to everyone who's celebrating and observing the month of Ramadan. I hope this month goes great for you, and in honor of the month and in a way to welcome the month, I decided why not make a Muslim books, Muslim main characters, Muslim authors recommendation video, because I think we deserve to have a video of our own. So here we are. So for those of you who don't know or who don't observe the month of Ramadan, Ramadan is basically the 9th month of the Muslim Islamic lunar calendar. Could have just said Islamic lunar calendar, not the Muslim part, because anyways, yeah, so it's the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, during which Muslims abstain from eating, drinking, and sitting from dawn prayers to dusk prayers, which is basically Fajr prayer to Maghrib prayers. So I decided to basically just give you guys some book recommendations, and here we are. Let's get into it. So the first book that I want to talk about is Love from A to Z, which should be of no surprise to anyone because of how much I absolutely love and adore this book. This is one of my favorite like Islamic Muslim representation books. It's so cute. I love it so much. It basically follows Zainab, who's been suspended from her school after she talked back to an Islamophobic teacher. After her suspension, her parents decided to send her earlier than she was supposed to go to Doha for a vacation to visit her aunt. On the plane there, however, she finds this guy who's kind of cute, and he walks by her, and when he walks by her, he sees that she's writing in this journal, and the journal is called A Journal of Marvels and Oddities. And it's very cute because he has the same journal, and when he sees that, he's like, oh, I want to tell her I have the same journal. And he kind of walks by her like once or twice, but he doesn't get the chance to do it. And he's like, well, I missed my chance, that's okay. But then there's like this dinner, and she crosses paths with Adam again, and it's very cute, and they start talking, and they're talking about their journals, and they start hanging out, and it's very cute, and I think everyone should read this. Next up is Hana Khan Carries On. This is a wonderful food-related book. If you guys like restaurant rivals stories, this is the one for you. Basically follows Hana Khan, whose family owns this very small family-owned restaurant where they sell biryani poutine. If you guys don't know what biryani is, it's like this desi dish with rice, chicken, and gravy. It's very tasty. And if you guys don't know what poutine is this Canadian dish which has cheese, gravy, and fries. Anyways, I don't know how it works, but they combine these two, and that's like their trademark recipe. So the business is kind of struggling, and then suddenly this huge large-scale restaurant opens right across the street from them, and it's also a halal restaurant, kind of like their biggest competitor now. So Hana decides to scope out the competition, and when she goes there, she finds Aydin, who is the son of the owner of the restaurant. She's like, he's cute, but I'm gonna bring his restaurant down because they're stealing my family's customers, and that's not okay. So she turns to her anonymously hosted podcast. She's talking about the problems that she's facing, and she's also texting this guy. She doesn't know it's a guy, but she's texting this one listener that she's always talked to since the beginning of her podcast, who's been like this loyal listener, and they become friends online. And during this time, they start hanging out, like Aydin and Hana, they start hanging out, not necessarily voluntarily, and it's very cute, it's very nice. However, I will say before going into this, you should know that this does have a lot of mentions of Islamophobic motivated attacks and hate crimes against the community over there, and there's multiple mentions of Islamophobia. So if you guys are triggered by that, please check trigger warnings before going into it. Next up is A Show for Two by Tashi Bhuiyan. I have heard conflicted things about the Muslim representation in this book, so tread carefully if you go into it. But this basically follows Minna, who's in her final year of school, and she wants 3 things only before the year ends. Number 1, she wants to win this filmmaking competition. Number 2, she wants to get into her dream school, which seems harder than it is. And number 3, she wants to leave New York behind once and for all because she's sick and tired of the city. And she's also sick and tired of her conservative parents. So when this indie film star enrolls in her school undercover, she decides to seek out his help, and she wants him to act in her short film for the competition. Except he's like, all right, I'll do it if only you show me around the city, and you show me the ins and outs, and you become my tour guide. And then she's like, you're kind of annoying, but I'll do it. And then she starts learning stuff about herself. She catches feelings for this guy, and she also starts learning and re-loving the city of New York. And it's basically, from what I understand, this is like a love letter to New York, which I'm really excited about because I like the idea of New York City a lot. I feel like every other Desi girl, I really like the idea of New York City, and I want to read this book. So Next up is Salon with Love, which I've heard wonderful things about, and this is actually the book I'm going to be reading most likely tonight or tomorrow. Basically follows Dua, who spends the month of Ramadan, just like us, who spends the month of Ramadan in New York with her extended family in a very small, cramped apartment. And she's not happy about it because, this is not how she wants to be spending her time in Ramadan. She's exhausted because fasting can be tiring sometimes. And it doesn't help that every time she has an awkward or like an embarrassing moment, this cute guy, Hassan, who is a drummer in a Muslim band, is always somehow there to witness it. So throughout this time, she's kind of reconnecting with her family, she's reconnecting with her faith, she's also, having feelings for this new guy that she's around. And it's supposed to be a very cute book with it's supposed to have amazing Muslim representation. I haven't read it yet, I can't comment on it, but I'm really excited about it. Next up is As Long as the Lemon Tree Grows, and I'm so excited to read this book. And I know you guys must be wondering, why is she recommending all of these books that she's not read yet? And I know this is going to be a good book. You guys have to take my word for it. I know this is going to be a wonderful book. But the reason I haven't read it yet is because I was going to read it last week, and then my exams got postponed to next week, and I wanted to keep this as a gift for when I'm done with these sets of exams. So I'm going to read this on Monday. But this basically follows Salma, who is this girl who volunteers at a hospital during times of war in Syria. She used to be a pharmacy student until war was declared, and cries for freedom broke out during that time, and she had to basically leave her I think student life, active student only life behind, and she became a volunteer at a hospital as well. During the past year, Salma has lost a bunch of family. She's lost her parents, she's lost her brother, and the only family that she has left is her sister-in-law and her sister-in-law's unborn child. Now, as a victim of war, Salma has created this physical embodiment of her fear called Khauf, which also, fun fact, translates to fear in Urdu as well. And Khauf is basically constantly telling Salma to flee the country before her niece or nephew is born because she wants to be safe and she wants to be happy. Except one day her paths cross with this guy whose name is Keenan, who is obsessed with the idea of fighting for freedom, and he's very, very, he's in love with Syria and the idea of a free Syria. And so then she kind of has to rethink about her priorities and rethink about Khauf and what Khauf's telling her. And yeah, I'm really excited about this book. I'm so sorry I can't tell you more about it because I don't want spoilers. I haven't looked anything up, but everyone who reads this cries a lot. Everyone who's read this loves this book a lot, and if I'm right, this has a 4.5 rating average on Goodreads, and that's huge. That's a good book if I've seen it. So that's most of the books that I have. The next part of this video, I wanted it to be a spotlight for Muslim authors, because I think during this month, if we can uplift Muslim authors and make an active effort to read about read books written by Muslim authors, I think that would be great. So the next part of the video is all about books that may not necessarily have Muslim characters, but they will have been written by Muslim authors. Number one is Tahir Mafi, who has written our beloved Shadow Me series and who is responsible for Erin Warner and Juliet Farrar's existence. I think everyone should read her newest series, which is This Woven Kingdom, which is inspired by Persian mythology, and I think not mythology, Persian folklore and mythology, yeah. So it basically follows Elise, who is this servant who is actually the long lost heir of the Jinn Kingdom, and she has fled the Jinn Kingdom and she's now the servant in an enemy empire, and everything's going great. She's off the radar until the crown prince, who is Kamran, accidentally stumbles upon her, and then she starts working for him. And the more he learns of her, the more he's like, okay, there's something up with this girl. There's something different about this girl. And during this time, he's also heard of stuff that's not that nice. He's heard of prophecies of the heir of the Jinn Kingdom bringing his empire down. So they're also constantly searching for the heir, but they're also working together. If you guys get the gist of what I'm saying, I feel like I'm explaining this horribly, but I read this book last year, and even though it was a great book and I remember a lot of it, I don't remember most of the plot enough to relay it to you guys. It's really hard, but yes. Next up is Hafsa Feso, who is responsible for writing We Hunt the Flame and We Free the Stars, which is a Sanzo-Arabia duology. I absolutely love this book. If you guys like enemies to lovers, I would definitely go for this. This is not a slow burn, as TikTok said it was. It's not. They actually fall in love pretty quickly, so if you're into that, yeah, go for this. Basically follows this girl who is Zafira. She is a huntress, but she dresses up as a man to hunt for her village until, you know, she finds out that there's this prophecy and there's this land that she can go to, and then she can fix like all the problems in her area. So she sets out on this journey and she risks everything and she goes to this area. I forgot what it's called. Anyways, yeah, so she sets out on this like very huge quest. During this time, there is Nasir, who is the Prince of Death, and people die because he lives, and he is the prince of the area, and he is set on a mission to kill the hunter, who is actually the huntress. He is set on a mission to go kill the hunter on his mission because his father, the king, is very threatened, and his security is threatened by the existence of the hunter. So as Nasir goes on this journey, he's like, oh shit, that's a girl. And I don't kill women. But she does hold him at knife point at one point, which I really liked anyway. Anyways, so then they start working together, and Nasir's like, okay, fine, I'll help you on this journey. And there's like forced proximity, there's reluctant alliance, and then you know, they start working together and they start liking each other, and the journey kind of becomes very hard during it, like one point or the other. This has hints of found family, enemies to lovers, there's high stakes mission. If you guys like that stuff, definitely read this. Next up is A Number in the Ashes, which is by Sabaa Tahir, who is also a Pakistani author, which I think is absolutely very cool. I love this series so much. This is a YA like fantasy-ish, I would say, dystopian-y book. I really love this like quartet, and I think everyone should read it. It basically follows Leah, who is the daughter of these two very famous freedom fighters who are long gone because they're dead and they were captured. And you know, she and her brother are the only ones left, except her brother gets captured for illegally making swords and weapons that can be used against the army. And then Leah's like, all right, fine, I need to get him out. So then she seeks out the help of rebels in exchange for going into the army academy as a spy, under the guise of a servant. These rebels are supposed to help break Leah's brother out of prison. So Leah's like, all right, fine, I'll do it. And during this time, she stumbles upon Elias, who is this guy who is this very, very, very loyal soldier. And during this time, there's like a shift in power and there's new trials going on. So, you know, they're both struggling with freedom. None of them are free. They both hate the system that they're in, even though Elias is supposed to be this very brainwashed kind of loyal soldier. He's not, and he kind of feels guilty about that because, you know, all of his friends are very loyal to the Empire, and he's like, the Empire is kind of not nice. They're killing innocent people. Anyways, it's a wonderful book, and I think everyone should read it. And I love the writing. This is inspired by the Roman army system and the Roman martial system, and I really like it, and I think everyone should read this. So that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope everyone's had a nice time watching this video. I hope it was relaxing. If you guys are fasting, I hope your fast is going well. If you guys are not, I hope your day is going well. And the next video that I've planned, actually, I think I'm gonna film that tonight, and I'm actually really excited to film that. And it's basically something to do with food, which I think is kind of counterproductive in Ramadan, but it's basically books with like culinary plots, and I love that, and so that's coming soon. Anyways, I thank you guys for sticking by. If you're still here, I appreciate it so much. You're a real one. Leave any comments that you guys would like to leave. I will be reading them, and subscribe and like if you like my content, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.